up, and welcome to the Beneath the Dirt podcast. I'm your host, Rombone. Thank you for tuning in. Episode 209. What's good, everybody? Thank you for tuning in. Whether you're on YouTube or your favorite podcasting app, what's really good out there? How y'all doing? Hope y'all staying safe out there. All that good shit, man. We back in the fucking hive for another episode. We got a bunch of shit to talk about. The Gathering is going down this week. This fucking week going down. The Gathering 2022. The Gathering of Dreams is happening. We got, they had the infomercial last week. We'll get to that in a few minutes, but we got new music we got to dive into, and we're going to jump right into it with my favorite album that dropped this past Friday, Suicide Boys, Sing Me a Lullaby, My Sweet Temptation. Their album names, song titles are always fucking wild. And the music on this album is fucking fire. I've been a fan of Suicide Boys since 2016, something like that. These dudes been killing it for a minute. And I gotta say, right off rip, Sing Me a Lullaby, My Sweet Temptation is probably their best album since I Wanna Die in New Orleans. Right off rip, I think it's their best album since that album. And not that the last couple projects that they put out weren't good, because they were. But this one right here is got a lot of old school vibes on this one. A lot of throwback Suicide Boys sounds on this project, I think. And the production from Scrim on here is, of course, great. Scrim sounds dope on here. Ruby the Cherry sounds fucking fire. Ruby's my guy in the group. I fucks with them both, of course. But, man, this album right here, if you fucks with Suicide Boys and you haven't checked the album out, you gotta peep it, because this shit's super dope. They did release a couple songs as singles. I believe Escape from Babylon was a single, and The Evil That Men Do were singles. I don't think any other songs were singles from this album. But man, you got songs like Fucking Your Culture. Song number 3, the beat on that shit is aggressive mosh pit music. I love it. And they're tearing it the fuck up on that song. So dope. I love that. Fucking Your Culture is probably my favorite song off that. And it's, I think, a sequel, right? Didn't they have a song called Fuck Your Culture? Yeah, it was Fuck Your Culture on Stop Staring at the Shadows. And now we got Fucking Your Culture on Sing Me a Lullaby, My Sweet Temptation. Shit is fire, man. No features on the album at all. For some reason, they did release a censored version of this album. I believe this is the first time that they've done that. Someone actually hit me up like, how do I listen to the uncensored version? I'm like, I didn't even know that they put out a censored version. But apparently it's out there on the digital streaming platforms. But this shit's fire, man. Fucking Your Culture, my favorite song. I love Ashes of Luxury. Resistance is Useless. Suicide Boys Were Better in 2015. That song title right there. And then they even have like old school Suicide Boy vibes on that shit. Man, I love that track. And then The Evil That Men Do, that was a single on some boom bap type shit. Man, that beat is fucking crazy. But Suicide Boys, Sing Me a Lullaby, My Sweet Temptation, my favorite project that dropped last week, and I highly suggest you peep this shit, man. If you love that old school 3-6 Mafia, Memphis style shit, you'll love Suicide Boys if you haven't checked it out, man. Go peep that shit, because, man, Suicide Boys, one of my favorite artists. I've said it before, but just one of my favorite artists of the last decade that I've found. And yeah, hard copies are available for that shit. So go peep that shit if you ain't. New Ill Bill dropped last week. This is probably my favorite single that dropped last week. Ill Bill featuring Tragedy Khadafi. Song's called Leviathan. This shit is hard as fuck, man. Ill Bill, Tragedy, Khadafi. If you're familiar with either one of these dudes, you know you're just gonna get aggressive boom bap shit, and that's what this is. I fucks with it. I'm super hyped for Ill Bill's next album. It's called Billy. This is the second single that Ill Bill dropped off the album. He just dropped one not too long back called Once Upon a Time in Canarsie with Lord Goat, formerly known as Gore-Tex. And I'm hyped for it, man. Ill Bill. Been one of my favorites. And I even had Still City Dahmer hit me up last week asking if this in the background of my studio here is the What's Wrong with Bill vinyl. It's actually the box set. Had to cop that box set when that shit dropped because What's Wrong with Bill is just a classic album. Classic album. Necro's production on there. Ill Bill just killing it. Nonfiction were on there. Q Unique was on there. Mr. Hyde. 04 PLR is like peak psychological records. Necro is at the top of his game with production. He put his best album out that year, and everybody was just dropping shit. But man, Ill Bill, his new album Billy's dropping soon. That new single Leviathan is fire. I highly recommend you check it out. Another really dope track that dropped last week was Sutter Kain. He's back with a new single, of course, featuring Donnie Darko. And the last single that Sutter Kain put out was on some like trappy kind of shit. But this one's back on that boom bap shit. It's called An Assassin's Death, featuring Donnie Darko and Switch. This shit is fire. Sutter Kain is just that dude, man. He's so goddamn good. And Donnie Darko is just one of the most underrated MCs out there. Just been killing it for over a decade at least. And I'm not familiar who with Switch is, but goddamn, this song is fucking fire. Sutter Kain, I've always loved Sutter Kain's production. Whether he's just doing the boom bap shit, whether he's doing the Southern style type shit, or the ghetto metal, the ghetto metal that he used to do back in the day. He doesn't really dabble in that much anymore. But man, Sutter Kain's production, top tier. Donnie Darko, top tier lyricist, in my opinion. That new song, An Assassin's Death, is out now, so go peep that as well. And then this album dropped last week. I had no idea this was even coming out. I think it was a surprise drop from Dubs, but he dropped his new album called Unshadowed. Now, if you listen to Super Famous Fun Time guys, you are familiar with Dubs. He's done a lot of shit with Super Famous Fun Time guys. They're even on this album. Separately, they're on different tracks, 8 Legs and Whipstick, but they are on this album. Gruesome's on here. McNasty's on here. He got Colton Seagrave, formerly known as K-Dot. The Dubs I fuck with the most is Midwest Monsters Dubs. I haven't listened to this Unshadowed project yet, but Dubs is just one of those dudes in this scene that is just super fucking talented. Sings his ass off, raps his ass off, always putting out top quality shit. So I'm going to peep this one. I didn't even know it dropped till fucking after the fact. And again, I got to say this. Like, there's a difference between hobbyists and people that just put shit out to put shit out. Now, I don't know what Dubs is. I don't know how serious he takes his fucking career, but I saw nothing on Twitter, nothing on Instagram. I didn't even see anything on Facebook. I actually saw this from Robbie from the Do It for the Underground Instagram page posted this shit. I still haven't seen anything from Dubs on any of his pages promoting this album. And that's one thing that fucking kills me with artists in this scene is the lack of promotion, the lack of seriousness. I don't know what it is. Again, I don't know if it's just a, again, there's a difference between hobbyists and people that do this shit for a career. And when it's hard to figure out or know when you drop new music, it's just, it sucks because I fucks with dubs. I fucks with dubs. And if you fucks with dubs and you never checked out any of the Midwest Monsters stuff, it's up on streaming. They put out 3 albums. All 3 are phenomenal. I love Midwest Monsters, dubs, K Dot, and then the third one had another dude, K Smoke, I believe his name was. That album was fun. All 3 Midwest Monsters projects were fucking fire. But Dubs, super talented. His new album, Unshadowed, is out now. We were just talking about Ill Bill a few minutes ago. His non-fiction brethren, Sabac Red, he dropped a single produced by Snowgoons this past week called This Connect. Now, if you're familiar with Sabac Red, super political, conscious rap. I think that's a fair statement for Sabac, right? But I fuck with Sabac Red, nonfiction. I love his album Sabacalypse. The Ritual's dope too, but Sabacalypse is my shit. That's another album that dropped on Psychological Records in 2004. Again, just 2004 for Psychological was killing it. But Sabac's new single, This Connect, produced by Snowgoons, top tier producers. And it's almost like Sabac's doing spoken word on this track. It's not my favorite shit that I've heard Sabac do, but it's always good to hear Sabac. I wanted to put it out there because I fuck with him. I'd like to see him put out more music. And yeah, that's up on DSPs as well. And here we go for the 17th week in a row talking about Mr. Gray and the Berzerkers project. We talked about the deluxe edition being released last week, right? For pre-order last week. And people started getting their CDs and copies and all that good shit of the Operation Delirium Red Team Edition, which combines Mr. Gray's Operation Delirium and Bukshot and Mr. Gray's Berzerkers project with 4 new bonus tracks. You got Warball, the solo Mr. Gray on the Operation Delirium side of the project. The new track from Mr. Gray, Warball, is a dope fucking song, man. I don't know why it was left off the regular release of this album, but it's on this Red Team edition of Operation Delirium. It's a fucking dope song. And then you got Duffel Bag featuring Boondocks. This is on the Berzerkers side of this Operation Delirium Red Team. That's a dope track right there as well. Boondocks kills it on there, man. It's just, some dudes are just better in a group setting for me rather than solo. And I think I've said it for all 3 of these guys. I prefer these guys in a group setting over solo shit. But man, they all 3 sound good on this track. The beat is fire. I got to assume that Seven produced it as well. Another bonus track, Gut You featuring Kung Fu Vampire, Buckshot, Gray, KFV on one track. Dude, KFV sounds a lot different on this song. Like, if you didn't know it was Kung Fu Vampire, like if they didn't put his name on here, you probably wouldn't be able to guess who it was. He sounds a lot different on here. His voice he's using on here, but he kills it, man. KFV is just one of those dudes that absolutely destroy it anytime he steps up to the mic. Underrated as fuck. Dude raps his ass off. I love the beat on Gut You. This shit is fire. The beat on that song is just so goddamn good. And all 3 of them kill it. Love that shit. And then we got a new Cabal song called New World. And this is the remix on the Red Team edition. I actually found out that the original is on the Inner Skull edition. If you pre-ordered the Inner Skull edition of Operation Delirium that came with Berzerkers, the original version of New World featuring Jamie Madrox was a part of that package. But this is the remix. This is the only version I've heard. And this remix go hard as fuck. technically for me, it's the original because I had never heard the original. I know it's the remix, but man, Cabal featuring Jamie Madrox. Jamie Madrox killed the chorus on this song. He was on the hook on here, wasn't doing no rapping or anything on here. You had Loc, Buck, and Gray doing the rapping on here. Madrox on the hook. He killed it. Probably my favorite verse on this song was Mr. Gray. I love when he mixed in that little bit of harmonizing right there for a couple bars. That shit was dope. Love that. Dude, new Cabal, you know, it's speculated that that is what is being advertised as the Pit dropping next year. But man, I know Loc just dropped Neon Sermon. Bukshot staying busy. He keep hyping up new projects. But I'm hyped for new Cabal, man. Because this shit sound good. Bottomless on the Berzerkers project. That's technically a Cabal song. Low-key, Bukshot, Gray. That song was super dope. Of course, The Watchers was just a great fucking album from last year. But I'm hyped for it. I don't know if I'm allowed to speak on it, but I'm going to speak on it anyway. I heard that Operation Delirium Red Team Edition will be up on DSPs in the near future. It will be up on the CD is fucking sold out. That shit sold out in a day. So, yeah. The only way you'll be able to hear it is up on the DSPs when it does hit DSPs. And if you haven't heard these songs and you are a fan of the Berzerkers project and Operation Delirium, you're going to love these bonus tracks, man. They're fucking fire. And these dudes are just killing it right now. Just straight fucking killing it. And other dudes that are killing it right now, Chapter 17, Ouija Mac, of course. But we got a new song from shaggytheairhead and Ouija Mac with DJ Chunk on the ones and twos called Shoot to Kill. If you've ever wondered what Ouija Mac would sound like on some boom bap shit, this is the song right here, and it's fire. So goddamn good. So fucking good. Ouija Mac kills it. The beat from shaggytheairhead is a dope ass beat, man. He produced a lot of shit. He produced a few beats on Yum Yum Bedlam. He did a couple beats on Wicked Vic. So if you fuck with those albums, you're familiar with shaggytheairhead. And if you checked out any of his solo shit, of course, you're even more familiar. But this new shaggytheairhead with Ouija Mac, DJ Chunk, called Shoot to Kill is fire. Absolutely fire. Such a dope-ass track, man. It's up on YouTube. The album, I think the album is dropping at the Gathering, right? Like everybody's dropping fucking albums at the Gathering this year, but I think this is dropping at the Gathering, if not sometime in the near future. But man, dope lead-off single for the album. He's got a whole bunch of features on there, and I'm hyped for that shit. So yeah, hyped as fuck, man. And speaking of the Gathering, last week, they had the Gathering of the Juggalos infomercial. It's not your traditional infomercial. They kind of did what they did last year. They just, was kicking it down in Violent J's basement in his man cave and just doing it podcast style. And I fucks with it, man. I've said it a million times. I love when these dudes just get together and just talk. It's always entertaining and fun to watch. And that was they had the infomercial this year. It was a live stream. It's not up on YouTube still. I'm going to check right now, but I don't think it's on YouTube. It got flagged for copyright. They're playing artist songs while they're talking about them, hyping the artists for the Gathering, making all these sorts of announcements and shit. But so yeah, you can't find it up on the Psychopathic Web Records YouTube channel. I just checked. It's not there. I doubt it's going to be there. The Gathering's going down in a couple days anyway. But a few tidbits of news that they did drop about the Gathering. The one thing they talked about, the mystery artist, the mystery performer. Everybody's been speculating on who this is. I was kind of thinking it was going to be Suicide Boys, just because, when the gathering was first announced, and then Team MUJ, Midwest United Juggalos, pointed out that Suicide Boys have a couple days off during the time that the gathering is going on. So I was thinking maybe it'll be Suicide Boys, but during the infomercial, Jump Steady said that this is something that he's been trying to do for 8 years. He's been trying to put this together for 8 years. I don't know what it is, but for 8 years, since 2014, I got no fucking idea what the fuck this could be. Like, what have they been putting together? I was trying to think of shit that they announced that never came out. And of course, it's a ton of shit because, that's what they do. But I just couldn't think of anything from 8 years ago that they announced that hasn't happened yet. And it's like a half-hour performance slot. It's not like a full hour-long performance. It's a small performance slot. Mystery. I got no idea who the fuck it is, but it's something that Jump Steady's been trying to put together for 8 years. If you think you know, fucking drop me a line. Let me know, because I couldn't think of anything off the top of my head, and still can't right now as I'm talking about it. But that was one thing that they talked about. The other big piece of news that they put out was Pug Ugly, the stink bud, will be in fact dropping at the gathering. Rumored to be dropping on DSPs this Friday. I don't know. I didn't get to watch the full infomercial. I didn't see that part of the infomercial where they're talking about releasing Pug Ugly, the stink bud. But they're undoing the delay. ICP known for delaying shit. I mean, Violent J was in the hospital for pneumonia, and Pug Ugly got pushed back. And I think this is like the first time ever in the history of ICP that they're undoing a delay and actually putting it out as originally advertised. Fucking dope. I love it. They put out Wicked Vic on time. Pug Ugly is going to be available at the gathering. I'm hyped to hear it. I thought Wicked Vic was really dope. Much better than Yum Yum Bedlam. I'm excited to hear Pug Ugly. What else was I going to say about this? But yeah, hard copies at the gathering. They're undoing the delay, and they're staying on time. The only thing I worry about now is Wicked Vic dropped in February, right? Juggalo Day, I believe. And they had about 4 or 5 months to get Pug Ugly ready, and they just barely got it out on time. And supposedly, Woe the Weeping Weirdo will be dropping at Hallowicked, right? On Halloween. Now they got 3 months for that. So now they got less than 3 months, actually, because they got to record that shit, press it up, and all that shit. But they got less than 3 months now to put that EP together to get it out on time. So we'll just have to see if that one drops on time. But right now, we're focused on Pug Ugly, the stink bud, and yeah, the second seed from Yum Yum, second seedling, I should say, from Yum Yum Bedlam, dropping at the gathering on time, as originally talked about. Another thing that was brought up during the gathering infomercial was they were talking about Mike E. Clark's performance at the gathering. Mike E. Clark making his triumphant return to the gathering this year, and Violent J just kind of put it out there. It's an honor to be talking to Mike E. Clark and working with him again in the studio. And I'm like, yo, working in the fucking studio again? Mike E. Clark and ICP back in the studio? I did criticize Yum Yum Bedlam for the production aspect of the album. It just, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't feeling the album. I blamed it on the production. And I said, and I will always say, ICP is at their best when they're with Mike E. Clark. Now, will Pug Ugly, the stink bud, have any production from Mike E. Clark? No clue. They didn't say. What are they working with, Mikey Clark? They didn't say. Is it the next Joker's card, the 6th Joker's card? Yes, Yum Yum just dropped. But who the fuck knows, man? Who knows what they're working on? I'm hyped to know that ICP and Mikey Clark are back working together. You know, I was saying I would love for Kuma to produce the 6th. And I still say that. If ICP is not working with Mikey Clark, have Kuma do the 6th. Kuma and ICP's chemistry is there. Kuma been down with the clown for a minute, been working for them, working with them for a long ass time. And I would love to see him do a full-length ICP album at some point. So if Mikey Clark's not doing the 6th with ICP, have Kuma do it. But if Mikey Clark is doing the 6th, sign me up. You know, he didn't do the 6th in the first deck. He didn't do the Wraith. Mike P was brought in kind of last minute and just they threw a Hail Mary with that shit. They caught it, scored the touchdown because that album was fucking phenomenal. The Wraith Shangri-La, man. But I'd like to see Mikey Clark get his due on a 6th Joker's card. You know what I mean? Shit, even if Mikey Clark teams up with Kuma, I mean, that would be interesting as fuck. 2 dope-ass producers working together. But bring Legs Diamond back in the picture, man. Where's Legs Diamond? I think he has a performance spot at the Gathering too, right? I think I remember hearing them talking about it during the infomercial. Legs Diamond. Get Legs Diamond back in the fucking fold too, man. Like, if you listen, especially Bang Pow Boom and Mighty Death Pop, you hear a lot of Legs Diamond. Go back to Riddlebox, Malenko, Jekyll Brothers. You hear Legs Diamond on those albums. I don't remember if he was on the Race Shangri-La or not. But you hear Legs Diamond all over ICP shit. And he's just as an integral part of classic ICP as Mikey Clark. Maybe not as much, but he was very still involved in the first 6th era and whatnot. So yeah, ICP working with Mikey Clark again, fucking dope. Love to hear that shit. It's been a long ass time. It's been a decade since Mighty Death Pop came out. That's going to be celebrating an anniversary this month, I think. Should I do something special for that one? Let me think about it. Yeah, I'm gonna. And I actually got to schedule that shit. I just forgot about it until now, but yeah. Thoughts off the top of the head while recording. Pug Ugly, the Stink Bug dropping at the Gathering as well. Hyped for that just because Wicked Vic was dope. I do think shaggytheairhead does have something to do with Pug Ugly because I saw him posting about it up on social medias. And he had production on Wicked Vic, and the production that he provided for them on that EP was fucking dope. So I'd like to see what he cooked up with ICP again for Pug Ugly. If he did, you know, speculation has it, right? Speaking of the Gathering, we talked about it a couple weeks ago. Hoodoo is dropping an album at the Gathering. Well, it turns out to be an eardrugmusik compilation from Hoodoo. So this is his record label putting out a compilation at the Gathering called opnurmndnc. The cover art's pretty dope. I saw a couple people criticizing the artwork. I like it. Dude's fucking head being ripped open with eyeballs coming out and shit. Open your mind and see. Know what I mean? Get it? So that's dropping at the Gathering. But we got the official title, and it's actually a compilation of his record label. And then another Hoodoo news, he dropped that info that he's going to be on Twitch. He's going to be the next one up on Twitch. August 2nd, tune into the Hoodoo channel when the journey begins. Big Hoodoo up on Twitch, twitch.tv/the Hoodoo channel. Just a lot of people moving to Twitch. Dope to see. You know, is Twitch that next platform? Is Twitch the next live streaming platform? It already is for video games, like, without a fucking doubt. But for, I guess, this scene, like, Shaggy and Keegan are on there. DJ Clay's on there. DJ Bobby B's on there. Trying to think of other people that might be on there. ICP's on there. Did I already say that? Twiztid is rumored to be joining Twitch at some point. But yeah, Twitch. Ouija Mac. We were talking about Ouija Mac. He's dropping his new single today, Monday, the 1st, featuring the Duke of the Wicked himself, Violent J. The second single off Stalewind, which drops Friday digitally, and then Wednesday at the Gathering physically. But Ouija Mac, You're Dead, featuring Violent J. The video is out now. Well, 1 p.m. on Monday. It depends on when you're listening to this. 1 p.m. Eastern. The new music video from Ouija Mac, the second single. This is probably the most interesting song I want to hear on it, just because it's Violent J. Like, I'm always like, anything ICP, my interest is piqued, right? But it's been a minute since we had ICP and Ouija Mac collaborate on some shit. And Violent J is on Stalewind on this song called You're Dead. Ouija Mac been posting pictures from the video shoot. Looks dope. I mean, Ouija Mac always puts out fucking dope videos. Always puts out dope videos. Everything this dude does, top quality, top tier shit. And I'm hyped for it, man. Ouija Mac, new video, You're Dead. Out now. I'll just say that. Because by the time most people listen to this shit will be already out. And then the album Stalewind drops on Friday. Probably my most anticipated album for the year. Stalewind. I'm fucking hyped for it, man. And then speaking of Ouija Mac, it was announced on Friday, I believe. It might have been Thursday of last week. The Three Stacks Music Fest. This is a crazy fucking lineup, but Ouija Mac is on this lineup. Other acts on this lineup: Flatbush Zombies, dope ass group. City Morgue, fire. Snow the Product, dope. Twiztid, dope. Millie's, dude from Massachusetts. I fuck with Millie's. Echo's on here. Montana of 300, Witch House 40K, and Yavid. I'm not sure, but most notably, at least for the Juggalo scene, Twiztid and Ouija Mac performing at the same festival. It goes down September 17th in Lansing, Michigan at Adado Riverfront Park. It's all ages. And this looks like a fucking dope lineup, man. Tell me how every other festival in the underground or just in general that's having people in this scene on their festival is better than the Gathering. Every fucking music fest. Lethal Weekend, dope lineup. Gorefest, dope lineup. Lights Out 5, dope lineup. This Three Stacks Music Fest, dope lineup. The Blue Ridge Music Fest, dope lineup. Like, every other festival besides the Gathering got a fire-ass lineup this year. Not saying that the entire lineup for the Gathering is not good. It's just not what you would think represents the Gathering. Like, no Tech 9, no Kottonmouth, even though Kottonmouth don't really exist. Of course, no Twiztid. It's just so different now than it used to be back in the day. But there's plenty of other fucking dope-ass music festivals that are going down after the Gathering that you could check out. All these other fucking ill artists. And to see Twiztid and Ouija on the same fucking bill is wild. Not saying they're fucking best friends. Not saying they fucking hate each other or anything like that. But it's dope to see, man. I like to see it. I don't know if it's a step in the right direction or what. I don't even know if they fucking know or knew before the lineup was announced that each other was going to be on the lineup. Probably not, if I had to guess. But yeah, I like seeing that shit. And speaking of Twiztid, I thought this was pretty dope last week. Monoxide took to his Instagram page, posted up a picture of him and Madrox as Big Stank and Lil Poop from the Big Money Hustlers set, kind of doing like a Throwback Thursday vibe, kind of reliving the making of Big Money Hustlers. He says, our first movie, an amazing nightmare. Now, if you read Violent J's Behind the Paint book, you know it was a fucking nightmare making the Big Money Hustlers movie. But he goes on to say, the crew walked off. Director boosted the budget, and I got slapped 31 times for one scene. All about authenticity. Lived in New York for 3 months to shoot this. Driving every day through that horror show of traffic was amazing. What a time it was. So kind of reminiscing of Big Money Hustlers, making that movie back in the day. A fucking classic in the Juggalo scene, Big Money Hustlers. You got my money, motherfucker. Actually, motherfucker. And yeah, man, classic shit. It's been a long time since I've seen that movie, actually. I gotta go hop on some fucking Amazon Prime or some shit. Maybe YouTube got it. I don't know. And watch some Big Money Hustlers, because that shit is fucking classic, man. And I thought, not big news, but dope to see him reminiscing on making the Big Money Hustlers movie. Keeping it Magic Ninja related. Alla Zululu canceled their Tuesday night terror stream last week, but said this. They said tonight is canceled, but we're returning next week with a peep of new music, new drippings, and random occult debauchery. Our deepest, girthiest apologies. Please forgive. So, new music. I guess it was said on the Tuesday night stream that the Billy Obey, he's putting out an Alla Zululu remix album with his production. I feel like we've talked about this on the show at some point, but people are saying that he's going to be previewing music off that remix album. I'm curious to hear some Billy Obey remixes on some classic Zul shit, hear what his production sounds like. His production was sounding dope on that SON album. I don't know if he's done any other production since then, but I like the sound of the production on that SON album. And yeah, maybe we'll get a Billy Obey produced Alla Zululu project at some point in the future featuring all new music. But a new remix album is coming, and maybe it'll drop on this Tuesday, on fucking Zulmar. I was gonna say Camp Zul, but Zulmar. They're always dropping new merch, fucking damn near every Tuesday, and yeah, it wouldn't be any different this Tuesday. So yeah, be on the lookout for that shit. And then we got a little bit of Kottonmouth Kings news. We haven't talked about Kottonmouth Kings in a long ass time on this show, only because Kottonmouth Kings' current lineup is not Kottonmouth Kings. It's D-Loc with a band that just helps him perform live. But D-Loc took to Instagram last week and he posted, "Doing me, letting the river flow, working on new music, got lots of stuff done. I am going to start releasing different projects. No Kottonmouth Kings records, just solos and collaborations I got cracking. Keep the gears turning and the bud burning." So finally, maybe fucking finally, this dude is seeing the light that what he's doing is not Kottonmouth Kings. I doubt it. I doubt he's seeing it that way, but maybe, hopefully, right? Fingers crossed. Because what he's been doing with the Kottonmouth Kings name is just, it ain't right. It ain't Kottonmouth Kings. It hasn't been Kottonmouth Kings for a long ass time. A long fucking time. And it's just unfucking fortunate, man. It really is. D-Loc, I never listened to the new album, 25 to Life. I have no interest in listening to it. I've heard a couple people say it was good, but mostly it was bad reviews. Again, I hear the argument that this is something that he's put in 25 years of work, something that he built. So, of course, he's going to continue it going. But Kottonmouth Kings is not D-Loc. Kottonmouth Kings is a group of people. D-Loc, Richter, X, Bobby B, Pacalico, rest in peace. Saint Dog, rest in peace. Fucking Taxman on the live shows. Did I say Bobby B? If not, I apologize, but that's Cottonmouth Kings, right? You could throw Dirtball in there too. I fucks with Dirtball, but it just wasn't the same at that point. It just, they had fun. Cottonmouth Kings, one of the craziest, hardest fall offs in music fucking history, in my opinion. Those dudes fell off so fucking hard. But man, I'd love to see Loc, Richter, just everybody get back together and just, even if it's for touring and not even putting out music, just a reunion tour would be fire. I would love that shit. That'd be super dope. But he's gonna be putting out solo shit, and I don't know if it'll be worth listening to. His last album, Ripperside, I thought was pretty good. I can't front. I thought that Ripperside album was dope. So I guess we'll just have to fucking wait and see on that front from D-Loc. And a couple more upcoming things. ABK, we just talked about Big Hoodoo starting his own Twitch channel. ABK is promoting his Twitch channel now, twitch.tv/KillisNub. You can get the finger, the middle. Okay? But ABK, new Twitch channel. Again, everybody moving to fucking Twitch. New album dropping this week. This is like the only new project that I could think of. Well, actually, there's a shitload that are dropping at the Gathering, but outside of that, that's dropping this week. And that would be Mav of dloc, produced by Padre, P.A. Dre. It's called The Caution Tape. It's dropping Friday. I've talked about Mav a lot on here. Just that grimy upstate New York boom bap shit. That Rochester, New York. I believe that's where he's from. I'm hyped to hear this shit. Last year, Mav had a great year last year. Dropping, 4 projects, I believe, last year. He had Breakfast at Sue's. He had Demons and Angels 3, if I remember correctly. 98 Miles with Asan Eastwood and a couple others that I can't remember off the top of my fucking head. But he was putting out dope-ass music last year. He had a great fucking year last year. And that's dropping this Friday. I'm personally hyped for it. I don't know if you're listening, you've ever checked out Mav based on a recommendation. If you have and you dug it, now you know he's got some new shit dropping Friday, son. Fucking Friday. We got some fucking birthdays this week. Albums that are celebrating anniversaries. First, we got Light and his album, Psychopathic Monstar, celebrating a 5-year anniversary. It's crazy. It's wild that it took almost 5 years for him to drop another project after Psychopathic Monstar. But it's 5 years old. There was 3 different versions for the album. And happy birthday to Light's Psychopathic Monstar, Mad Child's The Darkest Hour celebrated a birthday last week. It's 5-year birthday last week. This one was produced entirely by Evidence of Dilated Peoples. And this one kind of went under the radar, I feel like, for Mad Child. The Darkest Hour is a dope album. If you love that old school Swollen Members, that boom bap shit, that's what this album is. I mean, that's what Evidence does best production-wise, right? This album was definitely fucking slept on. And it was slept on for me. Like, I didn't get onto this album until the last couple years. But it's a fucking dope album, man. Definitely peep that shit if you're a fan of Mad Child. The Darkest Hour was a dope one. And then probably my favorite album that had a birthday last week was La Coca Nostra, Masters of the Dark Arts. Celebrated its 10th anniversary last week. And this is actually my favorite La Coca Nostra album as well. Slain and Ill Bill. Production on here from DJ Lethal. Man, I fucking love this album. Hard as fuck. They've only put out 3 albums so far since A Brand You Could Trust in 2007, I believe. But Masters of the Dark Arts is my favorite shit. Couple of my favorite songs on here probably be Electronic Funeral with Sean P. Rest in peace. P. Sorry, I blew your eardrums out. But that's one of my favorite songs on here. Couple other my favorite songs. Malverde Market. Love that song. The title track, Masters of the Dark Arts. Great way to end the album. I love that shit, man. This album, if you fucks with Ill Bill or Slain and you ain't never checked out La Coca Nostra, check out any album. But if you need a recommendation, I do recommend Masters of the Dark Arts, man. It's classic shit. From La Coca Nostra at this point, it's been a decade. I think anything that's been out for 10 years, you could start calling a classic. And I think Masters of the Dark Arts is some classic shit from Ill Bill and Slain. And yeah, that's going to fucking wrap it up this week. I appreciate everybody that's tuned in. If you're going to the gathering, safe travels, have fun, be safe, and all that good shit. Hope everybody has a good time at the gathering. That's what it's all about. And I'm Roland Bone of the Beneath the Dirt podcast. And until next time, I'm out. Peace.